What would you do if the world around you was collapsing? If fire rained from the sky? If the ground shook beneath your feet? If everyone else was running for their lives? Would you run, or would you stay because you had a responsibility? This is the story of a man who stood still when everyone else ran. And what he left behind became a message the world still needs today. In the year 79 AD, there was a city full of life, beauty, and movement. A city where people laughed, traded, loved, and dreamed. That city was Pompeii. It was one of the most vibrant places of its time, alive with culture, filled with ambition, and overflowing with the ordinary moments of human life. But one day, everything changed. Without warning, Mount Vesuvius erupted. The sky turned black. Ash fell like snow, thick, heavy, suffocating. The air became poison. Panic spread like wildfire. People screamed, people ran, people tried to save whatever they could. Some grabbed their children, some gathered their treasures, some simply ran without looking back. And in a matter of hours, a living city became a graveyard. Thousands were buried beneath layers of ash and stone, frozen in their final moments. Centuries passed. The world moved on. But beneath the earth, Pompeii remained. Until one day, archaeologists began to dig. They uncovered homes, streets, tools, and most hauntingly, the remains of the people who had died there. Bodies preserved in ash, a mother holding her child, a man shielding his face, families huddled together, each one telling a story of fear, desperation, and humanity. But among them, there was one figure that stood out. Near the gate of the city, they found a soldier, not lying down, not running, not hiding. He was standing, still, upright, holding his weapon, facing forward. While everyone else fled, he stayed. While chaos consumed the city, he did not move. While death closed in, he stood at his post. Why? Because he had been given a responsibility. He was a Roman guard. His duty was to protect the gate. And even as ash filled the sky, even as the world collapsed around him, he chose to remain faithful. He didn't run. He didn't abandon his post. He didn't choose safety over responsibility. He stood until the very end. More than 1,600 years later, his body was still there. Not just a skeleton, but a symbol, a silent message echoing through time. Responsibility matters. Now let me ask you something. In today's world, where everything is fast, noisy, and uncertain, where people give up easily, where commitment fades, where responsibility is often avoided, what kind of person are you? When life gets hard, do you run? When pressure builds, do you quit? When things don't go your way, do you walk away from your calling? Or do you stand? Because here's the truth. Responsibility is not tested when things are easy. It is tested when everything is falling apart. Anyone can be committed when life is comfortable. Anyone can be faithful when there is no cost. But real character, real strength, real faith is revealed in the storm. That Roman soldier, he didn't know his story would be remembered. He didn't stay for recognition. He didn't stay for praise. He stayed because it was his duty. And today, we are given a responsibility too. Not to guard a gate, but to live a life of purpose, to stand firm in our values, to love when it's hard, to serve when it's inconvenient, to stay faithful even when the world tells us to give up. There is a verse that says, "Go into all the world and preach the good news to all creation." This is not just a suggestion. It is a calling, a responsibility. But let's be honest, it's easier to stay silent. It's easier to blend in. It's easier to choose comfort over purpose. And in a world full of noise, fear, and distraction, many people are running from responsibility, running from purpose, running from what they were called to do. But not you, not anymore, because deep inside you know you were not created to run, you were created to stand. Even when life becomes chaotic, even when challenges rise, even when you feel tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain, you stand. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. The soldier of Pompeii never spoke a word, but his life spoke louder than any voice. He reminds us that responsibility is not about convenience, it is about commitment. He reminds us that faithfulness is not about feelings, it is about choice. And he reminds us that even when no one is watching, even when the world is falling apart, even when it costs everything, you can still choose to stand. So today, whatever your responsibility is, wherever you are placed, whatever you have been called to do not run. Stand firm, stand faithful, stand strong. Because in the end, it is not those who ran who are remembered, it is those who stood. And remember this, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. You are stronger than you think. You are called for more than comfort. And your life has a purpose worth standing for. If this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit like to support the video. Share it with your loved ones to spread this meaningful message. And remember to subscribe so you won't miss the next inspiring stories. Thank you so much.